Hello, my fellow Canadians and future Canadians. It's Rick, back again to talk about what's happening in Canada. If you haven't subscribed as yet, please hit on that bell icon because we try to bring some amazing content for you every week. And today, we're going to discuss new policies for international students. Canada, famous for its maple syrup and beautiful landscapes, is changing its tune. Remember when they rolled out the red carpet for international students? Yeah, those days might be fading faster than a Canadian tan in November. Canada's been a hotspot for students worldwide, many hoping to snag a sweet post-graduation work permit and maybe even a shot at permanent residency. But hold your moose, things are getting complicated. The Great White North is facing some growing pains. And guess who's feeling the squeeze? You guessed it, international students. The government's getting stricter about who gets to stay after graduation. They're also putting a cap on how many student visas they're handing out. It's all a bit of a shock, like finding out your Tim Hortons only has decaf left. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're diving headfirst into the icy waters of Canada's changing immigration policies. Let's see what's got everyone talking, eh? Okay, so what's the deal with Canada pumping the brakes on its once open-door policy for international students? Well, it's complicated, like a beaver trying to explain hockey to a moose. Canada's facing a bit of an identity crisis. On one hand, they need skilled workers to fill job gaps. On the other hand, they're grappling with a housing shortage and a grumpy populace feeling the pinch of rising living costs. The old system was too lenient, leading to a backlog of applications and people overstaying their welcome. These changes will streamline the process and ensure only the right folks get to stay. Critics, however, are calling shenanigans. They say the government is using students as scapegoats for their own economic woes. They argue that these changes will make it harder for Canada to attract and retain the bright minds it needs to stay competitive. All right, let's break down these new rules, shall we? The government's brought in a cap on the number of study permits they're issuing. Think of it like a bouncer at a trendy club, only this one's got a maple leaf on its shirt. They're also getting picky about which programs qualify for post-graduation work permits. Gone are the days of studying underwater basket weaving and still getting a shot at permanent residency. Now it's all about degrees that align with in-demand jobs like those in tech, healthcare, and skilled trades.
But here's the kicker. Even if you do everything right, there's no guarantee you'll get to stay. The competition for jobs is fierce, and Canadians, understandably, get first dibs.
Section 4. The price of studying abroad, economic realities bite. So, you've managed to snag a student visa, congrats. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should we say the moose on the campus money, eh? Studying in Canada ain't cheap. International students pay significantly higher tuition fees than their Canadian counterparts.
Add to that the cost of living, which is skyrocketing faster than a beaver fleeing a forest fire, and you've got yourself a recipe for financial stress. Finding affordable housing is like trying to find a polar bear in a snowstorm, nearly impossible. Many students are forced to live in cramped, overpriced apartments or share rooms with multiple roommates.
Section 5. From welcome to where's the work, student frustration grows. Remember that warm, fuzzy feeling Canada was known for? Yeah, it's getting a bit frosty these days. International students who were once welcomed with open arms are starting to feel like they've been left out in the cold.
Many feel misled by promises of a pathway to permanent residency. They've invested time, money, and energy into building a life in Canada, only to find the rug pulled out from under them.
Protests have erupted across the country, with students demanding better treatment and clearer pathways to immigration. The government, meanwhile, is sticking to its guns, arguing that these changes are necessary to protect Canadian interests.
Section 6. Brand Canada. Tarnished reputation or necessary adjustments. So what does this all mean for Canada's reputation as a welcoming and multicultural haven? Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag, like a bowl of ketchup chips. Some love it, some hate it.
On one hand, these changes risk alienating potential students and skilled workers. Canada's already facing a labor shortage, and making it harder for immigrants to stay could worsen the problem. On the other hand, some argue that these measures are necessary to address Canada's internal challenges and ensure the sustainability of its social programs. They say that managing immigration is crucial for maintaining a balance between economic growth and social cohesion.
Only time will tell how these changes will play out, but one thing's for sure. Canada's immigration policies are at a crossroads, and the decisions made today will have a lasting impact on its future. Let us know what you think in comments. If you are an aspiring international student or an international student in Canada, we will love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and follow my channel for more great content. Your support means the world.